Zach, are you excited?
I'm so excited. I'm just a ball of energy that's ready to explode with Koppai.
Oh my gosh. I think that best says it. Number 1 in the Nintendo pipeline. We need to unclog it, assume the position, take your plunger, put it on the toilet, and start sucking that thing dry. The NFC reader is now only $10 if you're an Amazon Prime member. For those who didn't upgrade to the new 3DS line with the fancy C-stick and the Amiibo reader, it's a pretty good deal for games like Animal Crossing New Leaf, which is not going to be getting Animal Crossing support. No, Amiibo support, as well as Happy Home Designer uses the Amiibo cards. I think Super Smash Bros. Used the Amiibo. What other games did? I know there was a couple ones.
Mm-hmm.
Mario Kart 7 didn't. Mario Kart 8 did. There weren't too many on the 3DS that used Amiibo. Oh, I think maybe Mario Party Star Rush will.
Yeah.
And so
I know that it was mostly pushed for the Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer and the
which is a
Amiibo
fun game.
Festival. Yeah, but it didn't do very well. I don't think it sold definitely not as much as like a new Animal Crossing title like New Leaf. It was kind of a mod expansion sort of thing that was sold separately, and I guess and so I don't think that, it had the Animal Crossing name, so I think it did decent, but it probably didn't push Amiibo sales like Super Smash Brothers and things like that. So I would assume that they're just trying any way to kind of push those extra Amiibo off the shelf. And
yeah, I think the Amiibo cards are brilliant with the 3DS, because then you can kind of carry a pack of cards with you. I'm still surprised they haven't done anything with Pokemon cards yet, as far as Amiibo functionality. But yeah, $10, you can either get a $200 new 3DS if you want the Amiibo functionality, or you can just go ahead and get that $10 NFC reader. Also, Amazon Prime is an awesome thing to get. You get 20% off pre-orders and games within 2 weeks, and lots of other free shipping and all that, unless I don't think it does international shipping, which we learned with Hayden Gaming. First shout out of the episode to Hayden. Nintendo Pipeline Clog number 2. Ayanuma spoke about the change of direction that is readily apparent in the open world Zelda title and the need to break voice break at the word break. Previous conventions. Quote, he said there's a form of Japanese theater called kabuki. A kabuki master would say, quote, in order to break the mold, you need to know the mold. Kind of that wax on, wax off sort of philosophy from the Karate Kid, which I believe is kabuki. Ayanuma goes on to say, often when I speak to Mr. Miyamoto about a problem, that's the feedback he'll give me. You don't understand the mold here. That's why it's no good. So basically Miyamoto isn't it Miyagi?
Yeah. I think that's Mr. Miyagi.
Mr. Miyagi-san.
Yeah.
And Ayanuma is the Karate Kid. But he went on to say, I think that a lot of feedback was received from people that played Skyward Sword. There was those pockets of the worlds that players were able to dive into, where they really wanted to get in between those worlds, all of the hidden elements that they weren't able to see. I thought that was really natural for Zelda fans who want to explore and uncover little secrets. And they realized that they needed to be more open. So that's kind of the directions they're taking with the new Zelda title. Yeah. Also, in addition to that, item number 3 in the Nintendo pipeline, Ayanuma said that he was one of the main reasons that Zelda was delayed due to the miscommunication with the development team. According to him, they wanted to meet certain milestones, and if it was going perfect, then the next one needed to be lost, and it was just, he had some expectations with it.
No, what happened was that they were developing, they have these little points so that they meet as a team, they'll all get together and talk about where they want to go, and then they'll all split off and work on the game for a period of time, and then meet back together and see is everything still going great. And what happened was during the beginning of the game, and I think this is when kind of the first reveal happened, that they had their get together and everything looked like it was going great, and Anuma said this is what I kind of want us to focus on going forward, and they all split off. And when they came back together, he had not been specific enough about what actually the elements he had actually really enjoyed about the demo versus
they didn't understand the mold.
they went off and started doing all these different, like, they went a little different direction than he anticipated, and so when they got back together, it was all kind of lost and didn't feel like the same, like, magic that he'd experienced in the previous milestone. So he had felt that a lot of that blame fell on him for not communicating properly enough, and that probably contributed to the delay, that it was going great. He kind of didn't really set the direction well enough, so when they came back, they all kind of had to refocus on what actually he had felt in the first milestone that made it feel special and try to bring that magic back because some of it had been lost. And so I thought that was pretty interesting, that...
Yeah, I mean, with a game like that where you're basically developing so many tiny games in one, like, that's a good kind of attitude to, like, just go ahead and split into these small groups, but that's tricky when
yeah, definitely.
he has an expectation built up and stuff, and I don't know, I mean, it's just interesting because it seems as though nothing's really been lost in translation. I mean, obviously, like, we see some different steps of it and stuff, and it's developed a little bit because it's been so long, but it seems like it is pretty matching up to that feel that they had in the very first reveal. Like, they haven't really abandoned that, so...
Yeah, definitely.
And now it's, I think, at the point where there's no way they can go back, and so won't be delayed again.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they got it all on track. It's all ready to go now.
And I'm hoping it's still March. I'm hoping,
yeah,
because it sketches me out. Like, I trust that it would be an NX launch title, but it sketches me out that they removed March from the initial description of it.
I think that is really weird too. Like, it just seems they're kind of being
cagey.
A little No Man's Sky with the new Zelda game, like
they're gonna get some sort of lawsuit.
Yeah,
they're gonna get a lawsuit for having the word breath in the title, or wild, or what is it? Like, isn't No Man's Sky being, like, sued because they basically stole the super formula from some, like, German development studio? Did you hear about that?
I heard something about a lawsuit. I didn't know the exact details of that. I thought it was something over a name change, but I didn't know it was over a game engine, like, stealing.
some Skynet service or whatever sued them for using the word Sky in their name.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They lost that.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But then another group said that they made the super formula that allows basically all this procedural generation for a universe to be made.
Right.
And Sean Murray has said before that they used a formula from some other people. Apparently, though, that since now the game is making profit, like, it's about to go on sale, unless that other studio gets credit or some sort of monetary value, then No Man's Sky could be in a lot of trouble. And the guy that made the formula said, like, it's okay if they use it. Like, we're not suing it for that. Like, obviously the game's a go. Like, it's almost out and it's a big deal. We're not going to stop the production on that, but we need something for that. Otherwise, there's going to be legal trouble after the fact. And so...
It's not like the Space Engine people, is it? Because I remember playing that little thing, and that seemed a lot of a kind of No Man's Sky sort of engine.
No, I don't know. I think it's the super formula that they're talking about, like this secretive sort of thing that makes it so they can just play God or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting indeed. It makes sense though. I don't know. It kind of seems maybe like Sean Murray was
always cagey, like shaking his head and smiling.
Yeah, well,
just awkwardly down in his shoes, like, I'm gonna get sued so bad.
Yeah, it's like he didn't expect it to become like the biggest game of all time, basically. And he's like,
found a formula on Google, and they're like, let's use this for our next game. And the whole world's like, you guys made it. Because I think he always said, like, they're like, you're a mastermind, and he's always like, right. No. But,
yeah.
Speaking of Aonuma, though.
Yeah.
Number 4 on the Nintendo pipeline. Aonuma is being asked by Nintendo to create a new IP. Quote, actually, this is Aonuma talking, Nintendo has been telling me to create a new IP, but then they're also telling me to make more Zelda games, and I can't really share much. I'm sure I'm allowed to say anything. Oh, I'm not sure I'm allowed to say anything.
Anything he wants, you just start saying, like, yeah.
But I really like the idea of a game where I can live as a thief. That's all I'll say. Which is super... This is a shady episode of Koppai. That's actually ironic. I should have made the segue, speaking of thieves. Cause yeah, a puzzle game by Ayanuma where you play as a thief of some sorts.
Yeah.
Really legit, especially, I don't know, maybe I'm weird like this, but I like when, developers stick with certain franchises but just make spin-offs of it. I know a lot of people hate that, like,
Yeah.
someone would rather have a completely new platformer than another Mario platformer.
Hmm.
I'd rather, like with Splatoon, for example, I wish that would have been like Mario Sunshine,
Yeah.
Delfino Plaza Extravaganza or something. Like, I would have rather it been something like that. And so it'd be cool if you could play like as a Sheikah of some sort.
Yeah, that's exactly what came to my mind too.
Or
Is
when the Gerudo people, like
yeah,
what Ganon is and stuff, like a young Ganon or,
definitely. Yeah.
although they're all females, I think, in that, so you can't be like a young Ganon. But
I kind of have faith that he'd be able to make a new IP that's pretty sweet, like that's pretty
oh yeah,
amazing. Like it's from the creator of Zelda here.
has he done anything besides Zelda? I thought he was brought on to do Zelda.
Yeah.
Uh,
I need to do
I
my
don't
research
know.
on that because
I'm gonna,
I don't know exactly.
I'm gonna look at my handy dandy notebook. Ayanuma on Wikipedia. And there's a picture of him working at the 2007 Games Conference. He was born on March 16th, 1963.
Oh.
He attended the Tokyo National University of Fine Arts and Music. All these music people at Nintendo.
Yeah.
All right, here's the role. He has been designer for the Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
He directed The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess.
Okay.
He also directed a game called Marvelous Mohitotsu no Takarajima. He was the graphic designer behind Super Mario USA Power Challenge. And then he was the producer for The Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition, Four Swords Adventures, Phantom Hourglass, Crossbow Training, Spirit Tracks, Ocarina of Time, Skyward Sword, Wind Waker HD, Link Between Worlds, Majora's Mask 3D, Triforce Heroes, Twilight Princess HD, Breath of the Wild, and then he was the sprite designer for the NES Open Tournament Golf, and the supervisor for Minish Cap, Hyrule Warriors, and Hyrule Warriors Legends.
Yeah. So
pretty much Zelda.
yeah. Yeah, I think I kind of flubbed there and said that he's the creator of Zelda. It's Miyamoto's actually the creator, and he's basically the owner of Zelda now, and he's basically the Zelda man. Like, I would say that, yeah, Zelda's Miyamoto's baby, but he kind of gave it off fairly early in the franchise to Aonuma, and yeah, it's just kind of taken off from there into what it is now. But, yeah, I don't know, the games that he's made are so good that I would feel like there'd inherently be so much Zelda in whatever new IP and I feel like they wouldn't go forward with a new IP unless it was like, something amazing, something
Interesting
really
enough, though, that we say this. In noting all of that, he's not the director of Breath of the Wild. A man named Hidemaru Fujibayashi is the director of Breath of the Wild, who also developed Skyward Sword, or directed Skyward Sword, Minish Cap, Four Swords, and then Oracle of Seasons and Ages. He was the director, planner, and scenario writer.
Oh, wow.
And then he also did Magical Tetris Challenge back in the 1990s. And so, interesting that he's kind of the director. He's really getting no spotlight for the game.
Yeah.
For being the main director of it. And then the producer.
That is interesting. It's like Miyamoto and Aonuma all the time that you see pushing the game. And
Aonuma is only producing it. Then Nintendo's developing it and publishing it, and then Hidemaru is the director. So.
Although it seems, like if that guy's the director, I don't know, because we keep seeing these interviews with Aonuma, and he's like saying, like that he gave so much input into it, and that it seems like, if anything, as a producer, he's not having sort of a standby role in this. He's definitely very engaged and probably pretty, I would say, directorial or whatever in his approach on it, because it's with the milestone story and how he is specifically saying which directions he wants it to go. That sounds just very directory to me, and so at least I can see that it's not like he's coming out and talking about the game constantly and he's working on other stuff and this isn't really his baby. It seems like it is in a lot of ways. Both Skyward Sword and this game, it seems that he talks pretty passionately about as if he had a really huge hand in it. So I would be interested to know what exactly their roles are and how involved this other guy is, because I've really hardly heard his name at all, or I don't even know if I could put a face to his name. So that's kind of interesting that unless
Or a
he's
name to his face.
yeah, that's true. But I mean, maybe he's just one of those kind of reclusive like Kimishima types that just doesn't really feel like, because Miyamoto and Aonuma are like so used to the spotlight and so comfortable with coming out and speaking about a game that he could have just several demo sessions with the game where he speaks like what he likes about it and what direction he wants it to go, and then is able to come out and give whole interviews and conferences about it because that's just how how good he is at communicating and getting across like how to pitch a new Zelda game and all of that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to close out this discussion on Fujibayashi, which I don't know how to say his name at all, or Hidemaru, he made his directorial debut for The Legend of Zelda, or home console Zelda, with Skyward Sword, and according to Fujibayashi, the most important aspect of game design is making the fundamental rule set of a video game absolutely clear to the player. He has a special fondness for the first Legend of Zelda, which he described as novel and groundbreaking for its time. Which is interesting that he has a special fondness for the first one, and they're doing so many callbacks to that one with Breath of the Wild. And so maybe this guy's getting kind of trained up as someone to take over if Aonuma moves on. To close out the Nintendo pipeline, we have a few more pieces of news. 4 more pieces. Number 5, a study has confirmed that Mario Kart makes you a better driver in real life. Bull. I don't know. I mean, maybe it is. If you use the motion controls, I mean, I don't know how, I guess,
Well, no, I don't know. I think that regardless, I guess, yeah, the motion controls probably would actually help quite a bit more than actually using just the analog. I think that probably both are, because it has a lot to do with your reaction times and being like aware of your surroundings. And if you encounter a banana
peel on the road.
Right, yeah. But there's also been that story of that kid that stole his parents' car, that young boy, and he was completely fine because he played Mario Kart, a lot of Mario Kart, and he said it was exactly like that. And so it's already been proven in like an independent sort of case.
Getting plummeted by turtle shells and you just not phased at all. Just straight face, windshields bashing into his head. He's whatever. No, I was thinking also like, when we were in South Dakota, we were driving the mountains and I was just blazing through those things. And I'm just like, this is basically my commute from Los Santos up to North San Andreas right now. So I mean, I'm good. I mean, I was going through the South Dakota Black Hills like at 60 miles per hour on some 30 mile per hour turns, and it was like curves and stuff. I'm like, I don't care. And so, I mean, I believe that Mario Kart probably in some regard then for, a little bit more twisty turny tracks.
Yeah, you're like doing your drifting.
Yeah, just putting on the emergency brake and like just telling my wife to hold on, just taking the turns, flipping over and stuff. Oh man, I'm getting so excited to go back and to do more cunning stunts. That game, or that expansion, so fun. It makes me, makes me wish that Nintendo would do some more racing beyond Mario Kart. Like they have the formula down.
Yeah, definitely.
This wacky stuff. Cause I was asking some online forums, like, is there a game like Cunning Stunts? If you like that with Grand Theft Auto, and people are like, basically the next closest thing is Mario Kart. I'm like, well darn it, like, I want an in-between. Like, I don't want this crazy Grand Theft Auto game that's like, has so much going on, but I want a little bit more than Mario Kart. So I mean, there needs to be like an in-between there, between all of that. Moving on, number 6, Ubisoft has said, what we've seen of Nintendo NX is great, and it'll draw casual players. Good call. Mm-hmm. I don't know what they've seen of it. I think they may just be kind of blowing smoke and saying, yeah, we've heard what you guys have heard too, and we think it's going to be awesome.
Well, we're like 7 months out now from the release, so most likely dev kits and stuff are out there.
Yeah. I'm curious because you have examples like Just Dance, and we're going to get to Sonic later.
Yeah, which is an Ubisoft title, so.
Yeah, it may. Oh, I guess that's true.
I said Ubisoft.
Ubisoft again. Yeah. But what is there? Alicia, the girl that hosted the ET
Aisha
panel.
Tyler.
Alicia. Yeah, close. She called that out too. So it makes me wonder though, like with examples like Ubisoft and Sonic Team, like, if they're just slapping NX on their set release consoles, and if they've even seen it, if they're just like, if Sonic Team's like, yeah, we're releasing this holiday 2017, we might as well say it's coming to the NX as well.
Yeah.
Or like if they've actually seen it, but
Or most likely, maybe Nintendo's telling them, like, yeah, it'll work, like, say it's a go, because we want it on our console, and it should most likely meet the
I love
hardware
though that like
specifications.
forever in history, there's gonna be these trailers and stuff where it just says NX, you know, like we're gonna have these like future things and reports and advertisements from video games that don't say, because I mean, how many trailers for video games did you see that said like
Dolphin
PlayStation 3, whatever, and then Project Cafe or something? Like it was always no, like
yeah,
or Revolution, you know,
yeah,
it was always. And so that's really interesting. Moving on, number 7. Speaking of games coming out soon, there may be a new Mega Man game coming, developed by Capcom for an upcoming action cartoon that's going along with the release of the game. Not confirmed though. Would make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of kind of nostalgic celebrations. We're going to get to Sonic later, but that seems to be kind of a trend going on right now to kind of return to the roots. Hopefully it's better than Mighty Number 9. And last but not least, Darksiders Remastered is coming to the Wii U later this year.
Woohoo!
Alright. I won't play it.
Yeah, I mean,
I won't buy it.
No.
That's it.
No. That's it for the Nintendo pipeline.
I think it's fairly unclogged. I think we can give it a flush. And I think oh, there it goes. Oh man. Yeah, we just moved into this new apartment and it has the tiniest toilet, and let me tell you, why so much is sneeze in that thing? It is clogged for a week. My wife's laughing in the background, like I'm telling you, like I peed in it the other day and it wouldn't flush. Like if I have pulpy orange juice, it's done. So, oh man, I think that's a good way to end out that.